Hey, Philip. Yeah, no worries. No worries. I appreciate you viewing anytime. Yeah, it's a busy day for streaming for me on Saturdays now. It's a long day. Definitely not a professional streamer by any stretch of the imagination, so 6 hours in the chair is a long time for me, but like I say, I do enjoy the game a whole lot, so it doesn't seem like work. Hello, Lord Henry. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, Smurf. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Philip. For me, however, I'm one of those rare people who actually loves what I do for work. So, I know it's disgusting. I'm one of those people. So, you found a bug in Act 2? Did you go onto the forums and type it up? The way Larian has been going, it's incredibly useful to be able to hop onto the forums and, well, first search for it to see if anyone else has reported it or not, but then typing it up so that they can take a look at it and prioritize it. Yeah, I've been at the same company for over 20 years now. Well, yeah, Smurf, then you're able to get a look at what the game's like by checking out how other people are going through their playthroughs. Whether or not people, end up purchasing it or something like that is what content creators are here for, to help out with that decision and that sort of stuff. Hey David, welcome to the stream. That's very true, Smurf. That is absolutely very true. Yeah, me, I've just got a special connection to Dungeons & Dragons and Baldur's Gate 3. you know, in particular. I've played all of these games since the first one dropped. Back in the day when the first one dropped, it was one of the relatively few games on Apple, on Mac. So it was very cool for me to be able to play, you know, what was such a great game on the Mac back then, and that's, you know, kind of contributed to me loving it so much. But then the stories just draw you in so much. I've been a big fan of these games ever since the first one dropped. Well, thanks, David. But, you know, I've got a lot of experience in Act 1. So I have several hundred hours here in Act 1 between early access and full release here. And we're still, you know, well into Act 1. We're coming to the end of it, but, you know, we are still in it. So once I get into Act 2 and Act 3, I'll only have my personal playthrough as experience behind it. So hopefully I can still find things that you might have missed in your playthroughs, but it's going to be much more new content for me once we get into Act 2 and that sort of stuff. That's why, even though we're doing the Githyanki Patrol today, we're not going to continue on into the Mountain Pass today, is because I've only played through a portion of that area once so far in my personal playthrough, and I want to go back and deal with it again in a little more in-depth before we get it on stream. So we're going to head over to the Underdark like we normally do in our playthroughs. Yeah, David, you can certainly invest a lot of hours into the early portions of this game, and then it just expands on that once you get into the later portions. I'd have to open up Steam to look, but I think I'm well over 700 hours now between early access and the full version here. Oh, well, thank you very much, Murph. I appreciate that. And I'm going to be talking about it a little bit. It's been a really busy couple of weeks with me from the family emergency, and then this past week trying to get into the repaired areas of my home here as I'm trying to get things moved in. So I've been slacking a little bit on my videos, and I'll apologize for that. But hopefully the videos that go up afterward will I'm going to spend some time this afternoon. Hey Joshua, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Alright, I think we'll go ahead and get ready to get started here. Again, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 15 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Bard gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on some admin notes, I want to start off by saying, by offering up an apology. The past couple of weeks have been a very busy time for me. Between work and family emergency when I was out of town, and now trying to get moved back into my repaired home and get things kind of set up for live streaming again. It's taken up a lot of my time, and by that, I've been slacking on the videos that have gone up after the live streams are done. They haven't had chapter markers. I haven't had a chance to redo the thumbnails or anything for the past week's worth of videos, and I apologize for that. It's me being busy is one thing, but taking care of the community is another. So I'm gonna devote some time this afternoon, or this evening, I guess, after the Paladin live stream is done, and however long it takes, I'm gonna get everything back up to speed again. So just wanted to apologize for the lack of professionalism on the videos, and hopefully I can get those back up to speed and we can continue on with that. So again, sorry for that, and I'll do my best to get it back on track. So speaking of that other portion of the admin note, there is I am back in my home again. Well, I've always been in my home. I've just been living out of one room of it while it was being repaired. I'm now back into my home. Everything is finished except for the final cleanup items, and that's, while it's taken a lot of time to get here, I'm still in the process of that move back in and getting everything settled. So my setup today for streaming isn't extraordinarily janky like it was before the Starfield stream, where I spent the entire evening and morning the day before getting all my electronics set back up down here. But we did have some issues on the Starfield stream with OBS cutting out and having to restart. I don't know what the issues were on that. I hope it has nothing to do with the setup down here and that sort of stuff. I don't think it does, but like I say, not entirely sure what was causing the stream to have a couple of cutouts last time. So be patient with me if OBS cuts out and the stream drops. It normally reconnects in just a couple of seconds. But we'll keep an eye on it and see. And if there's something else, like I say, I tried some troubleshooting steps this week, but couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. So we'll kind of work with it and cross that bridge when we come to it. So I think that's it for the admin notes. So for a recap, so last week was a busy episode for us in that we finished off the hag encounter and went back to our camp and are now in a position to deal with the last thing that we have to do in the overworld, which is the Githyanki Patrol. Now, we're not going to extend into the mountain pass as of yet. We're going to do a thorough exploration of the mountain pass, and I want to make sure that I've gotten enough experience with all aspects of it and the Githyanki Creche before we get there. So we're going to play this like we've played our early access live streams, and that we're going to start off today by finishing up some camp conversations. We're going to do some housekeeping for our items, and then we're going to head out to the Githyanki Patrol, hopefully clear that out without much of an issue, and then we're going to head to the Underdark. The Underdark has a wealth of content that we are fairly familiar with at this point, and it's one of the two ways to head into Act 2. And we are going to be exploring both of those ways, but for now, we're going to head into the Underdark first. There are some very useful upgrades there in the Underdark, which can help us with the mountain pass, or with the the mountain pass and the Githyanki Creche, and vice versa. There are very useful items in the Mountain Pass and Githyanki Crush that can help us with the Underdark as well. But we're going to go ahead and continue on this way into the Underdark first. So, interesting. She's got a wooden man. I never noticed this before. She's got a wooden mannequin of a mind flayer that she uses as target practice. Never noticed that before. So I think we've done our conversations here.
What's on your mind?
Yes. We've done our conversations here, so we're going to go ahead and finish off our long rest, and then we're going to deal with some housekeeping.
Here we go.
Okay. Morning, Darren. Thanks for being here.
I promised I'd be back. Don't worry. I have things under control. For now. I see you've been using the powers the tadpole gives you. Good. But things haven't gone as you expected. You hoped a druid as powerful as Halsin might be able to remove your tadpole. But he couldn't. You're desperate to be rid of it. Understandable. But you're looking for solutions in the wrong places. Your parasite is unusual. It is wrapped in magic that prevents its removal. Until the source of the tadpole's magic is destroyed, any attempt to remove it will kill you. You were lucky that Halsin knew this. His instincts are right. The parasites are merely a symptom of a greater sickness in Faerun. I am not sure yet. To find the answers, we must first find the source. These parasites are more than illithid spawn. They are vessels for control. The infected hear the voice of the Absolute and believe it to be a god. That is how the cult of the Absolute is spreading. The highest of their rank, the True Souls, carry a tadpole just like yours. It is how they receive their orders. It is what makes them obey. When the order to transform is given, it will not be a matter of days. They will be mind flayers in an instant. Were it not for my protection, so would you. It's complicated. But I'm an adventurer, just like you. Just like you, I was infected with a mind flayer parasite. Just like you, I seek to be free of it. I've been trying to escape from this evil for a long time. Once, I almost succeeded. Now, through you, I've been given a new chance. You can go where I cannot. And I can protect you from that evil. If we work together, we may turn this around. Hells, they need me. I have to go. The power I used to protect you, I stole it from someone. They want it back. I will hold them off for as long as I can, but sooner or later I will be worn down. You must discover the source of the magic that controls the parasites before that happens. The cultists are gathering at Moonrise Towers. Use the powers your parasite gives you to convince them you are one of them. And when you find the source of their magic, destroy it. Go. Our freedom depends on it.
Okay, so we learned a lot more about the backstory here of what's happening. And knowing what we know, or I guess knowing what we've learned through this portion of Act 1, we're kind of a little bit suspicious about what the role is that is being played by everyone. But for now, we're going to go ahead and continue as as we are here.
Ah, my good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much. My research turned up a rather brilliant technique that seems quite actionable. It's not too deep. Just behind the orbital socket. I could attempt an extraction. I've a needle in my tunic, after all.
Okay, so we've been through this before. This operation had a bit of a more influential effect in early access for certain types of characters than it does now. However, it still is incredibly useful now. So we're going to go ahead and go through this.
I assure you, I've dreamt of it 1,000 times over.
Volo carefully holds one of your eyes open and begins to prod uncertainly with the needle. The needle finds the gap between eyeball and socket. Volo frowns and begins to push.
If you're squeamish, turn away.
Pain shoots through your body as the needle snags on your optic nerve.
I think I have it!
The needle seesaws back and forth, plucking the nerve like a harp string.
Oh, bother. There's some obstacle in the way. I shall need a more robust implement.
Volo carefully withdraws the needle from your eye. Then, reaching into his bag, he produces an ice pick. Volo slowly brings the ice pick closer to your eye.
Now, don't move.
Cold metal presses against the skin beneath your brow. And then, tap, tap, stab.
Do you feel that? Ha! I think we have the blighter on the run. I agree. It's a feisty critter. Just a little further.
Volo tears the pick from your brain with a violent jerk. Your eye plops down into the mud.
Drat.
He pauses, looks down at your eye, and recoils slightly as it sinks into the mud.
appears to be an amount of cosmetic damage. Please, try not to overexert yourself. You're in a rather fragile state at present. I can't help but feel partly responsible. Perhaps there is something more I can do. Take this. A far superior relic to that old jelly you were chained to. Try it on for size. And, it was very nice to have met you. I'm sure you'll sort out your little brain problem one way or another. Far away from here, if you've a heart. Terribly sorry, my friend. Ta.
Okay, so, like I say, not for the squeamish. You can see we now have one turn remaining of Bleeding Eye, but that's now gone away. So, we have the See Invisibility condition. And that's because the eye has been automatically installed. In early access, Volo's Ursat's Eye gave you a +1 to Charisma and a -2 Wisdom, I believe. So for Charisma-based characters, it was a pretty big boon to have another +1 into Charisma. However, here that's in the full version of the game that was removed, and in the Ursat's Eye was changed to just allow you to see invisibility. So there's now a permanent passive effect that allows me to see invisible creatures. The see invisibility goes up to 9 meters around you. So whenever I move within 9 meters of an invisible creature, or an invisible creature moves within 9 meters of me, they have to make a dexterity saving throw, or else they lose their invisibility. So it's a quite powerful permanent passive feature that you can have, and one of the first, but not necessarily the first, but one of the first of a myriad of permanent status effects that you're going to see showing up here next to our characters as we get farther into things. So, and hey Star, welcome to the stream. So with that, Volo has now left our camp, and we can talk to Paulson here.
You wish to speak?
Paulson has a few conversations here that we need to start off, just like our other companions, so that we can clear these out.
I studied one up close. Closer than most would care to be to those things. A drow attacked me and I defended myself. Afterwards, I was able to examine the tadpole that emerged. Hideous, but fascinating. Like nothing else in nature, I'm glad to say. It's had the whole region around Moonrise Towers in a chokehold of darkness and despair for years now. Those who remained are shadow-cursed. If you don't die at their hands, then you become one of them. We have to get to Moonrise, but the less time we spend in its blighted surrounds, the better. Precious little, but I'm quite certain it can still be found.
Aradin was convinced there was a hidden entrance in the Temple of Seluna. I'd start there.
Well, there's hardly anyone left to share the responsibility with. Few who witnessed the fall of Moonrise still draw breath. What Ketheric Thorm unleashed is not something that nature can undo by itself. I must do what I can. I studied the Shadow Curse for years. But to truly understand it and stop it, I must reach its source.
Perhaps. But we'll need to get closer before I can put my theory into practice. Put it from your mind for now. Once we near the curse, then there will be more to be said. There are few things that are too strong for me. And cast those regrets aside. You did not get caught up in the moment. You seized it. In other circumstances, I would have done the same. Perhaps. But best to not dwell on nights past. There are plenty more yet to come. With such stimulating company? Never better.
Okay, so we'll have one more
You
conversation.
wish to speak?
Okay, so we're all caught up here. So now let's actually head to, well, let's check our inventory first. Yeah, we have items that we want to sell off here. So we'll go get rid of these real quick, and then we can head out and go have a not-so-friendly chat with some Githyanki. And we are definitely going to keep Lae'zel in our party for this.
It'll take a while for us all to recover, but you've helped us take the first step. Of course.
Okay, so let's sell off some of the more weighty items first here. Can't remember if I've opened that pouch or not. I'll take a look at it here in a second. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of these potions from Auntie Ethel's place. Okay.
May you keep balance.
Actually, let's see if
It'll
there's
take a while for us all to recover, but of course.
anything that we want to pick up in here. I don't think that there's going to be, but... So there is ring mail plus 2. So that's 17, so the ring mail is still 16, so we're still okay. Okay. There are some nice scrolls here.
May you keep balance.
Okay, so now we are going to head out on our adventure toward the Githyanki Patrol here. And to do that, we're going to head to... It doesn't really matter which of these two we take, but we're going to head to the Risen Road. And we're going to head west from here. Again, we've been through all of these areas before, so there's no need to take it slow through here. We can just quickly advance our way past all of this. Make our way over past Joaquin's Rest. Okay, so before we get into this, there's a couple of things that I want to do to prepare. As part of what is about to happen here, Lae'zel is going to be temporarily removed from our party. And I want to look here. At what effects we have, real quick. Okay. So, one way or another, when that happens, Lae'zel is going to be very, very vulnerable to attack. So, we want to put her in a situation where we give her the most protection possible, I guess. And as part of that, we're going to do some changing around of some equipment here. And we're going to remove the Everburn blade. And have her equip Faithbreaker and a shield. This is probably not going to be a permanent change. Actually, let's change that to Zionite instead. I'm willing to sacrifice the additional damage for the possibility of Fairy Fire. We want to get her armor class as high as we can get it here. And we can do that with a couple of different ways. And we're going to also use her heroism to gain her some additional hit points. This is a concentration spell that we're going to have to maintain, but it's going to keep her from being frightened and gain her 5 temporary hit points. So we're going to cast that on Lae'zel before we go. We could also cast something like Mirror Image or something like that if we had a scroll of it available to us. Anything to help increase her armor class and or her hit points is going to be a good thing. And actually we do have a scroll of Mirror Image here. I didn't think that we had. So we will actually cast that, have Lae'zel cast that on herself. And I want to check something on that. Okay. Okay, so that's what I expected out of that.
A dragon rider, my kin are near.
I want to quickly move her down here.
Drop your weapons!
I'll feed your innards to the ants before I do that, Istik.
This is your last chance!
No, look up. That was your last chance, Istik. Now burn!
Stop wasting time, Beretta. You're not here to play with the locals.
Of course, Kithrak. We merely sought to...
No excuses. Question, kill, then move on. Find the weapon. Our queen watches us. Fail her at your peril.
Can we kill them? Please. Pretty please.
Okay, so
One true way.
Lae'zel is going to move in here. Oh, so this has changed.
Ryder, my time is short. Lead me to...
Shh! Such a familiar tone. Were I not merciful, I would slice the skin clean from your meat. Yet you are not bleeding, for I am nothing if not merciful. Your name, child?
Lae'zel.
Lae'zel. Proud, regal, even.
You will call me Gestil Kithrak.
Vos, Knight Supreme. The Queen's silver, the Queen's sword.
I am who you say.
A Geich vessel has fallen from the sky, Lae'zel. Thieves aboard have taken a weapon most precious. Take word to your creche. You are to join our search. Speak up, child. Affirm your mandate.
My mandate, Gestil Kithrak, is to locate this crash. I was infected aboard a Geich ship and need to be purified. Your mandate is to aid me.
Purified? Oh, Lae'zel. Why must the truth be so bitter? Soon your skin will go grey, and your blood will run silver. You will shed your skin to become Geich. Only in death are the infected cleansed.
You will give us the weapon, then you will bend your head for the sword.
Stand down, Knight. I do not have what you seek.
Our queen's word binds me.
Beretta, see that her skull is split and the tadpole crushed.
Then examine her corpse. I will take word to the Undying Queen.
To Danos, to the sky!
Okay, so this has changed a little bit. I didn't notice this in my personal playthrough. That's odd. I don't remember this happening this way. Great, she rolled poorly. I would have preferred that Beretha had been the one to attack first.
Gone, death. You will not take me.
Okay, so now things are bad. So, I didn't expect that to go that way at all. This encounter is somehow different, and I wasn't expecting that. So, the planning here went awry. So now I have to figure out how to play this. Because normally, Lae'zel is taken out of your party, and she goes down there, and is stuck down there, and then you have to start the encounter, and she has to weather a bunch of attacks between you, whoever you've taken down there, to talk, and her. So there's 2 targets, not just 1. So now I have to deal with them without Lae'zel here. So Lae'zel's dead, so it doesn't matter if I'm in turn-based mode or not. So we're going to do this 1 person down.
Breathe deep and move.
And we'll see how it goes. So right now... Okay. I don't trust those detection cones. Okay, so she's right here. Okay.
Quietly now. Step carefully. Eyes open, mouth shut.
I'm actually going to move Will back here.
Let's have some fun.
Okay, so where is... Okay. What happened there? Removed my potion of speed. Come on. Okay, so I didn't roll that bad. Okay. So, where are the detection cones here? Okay. Okay, so Foreth is still facing me.
Out of sight, out of mind. Not a peep.
Okay. Okay. So we definitely wanted to remove that from the one of the raiders from the upper level here.
This feels good. Keep them guessing.
Okay, and now we want to... Would prefer not to do that. So he's got a +2 to his wisdom checks. A +1 to wisdom checks.
What path lies before me?
Actually, let's move back here real quick first. Okay, no. Back here. Okay, so much is going to depend upon whether this lands or not. Okay.
Need to find a way forward.
Let's spill some blood.
Okay, so Beretha's going to move right over towards me again, and Lae'zel's probably going to go down again. Is my guess here.
Blood comes easy these days.
Looking to see where we can reach.
2 steps at a time.
Okay. So Beretha's, oh, she's going after my bard. Okay, so now here we have an 80% chance to go after hit Beretha here. So let's try and use some of our attacks here to try and get her to drop some of this. Maybe drop her weapon. Okay, we definitely will take that. Okay, she dropped her weapon. That's good. Okay. So now he's going to get a chance to save here. Okay, so not too worried about Astarion going down there. Alright, so alright, so let's move out here.
No time to waste.
Well, first, let's get...
Survival is all that matters.
So I can't see him from there. So we need to concentrate on getting rid of Beretha here
This is my time.
with Will. Okay, that's good.
Nothing important is ever easy.
So I'm not too worried about an attack of opportunity here, I don't think. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it anyway. So we still want to get rid of Bertha, though. I don't want to. I want to leave the concentration here for Hideous Laughter on. Okay. So we definitely needed that.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
We'll see if I generate an attack of opportunity here. We do not. And we can get Astarion back up. So that ends her turn. Astarion can now... He does have his bite attack, which would heal him even more.
Sounds like fun.
Okay, and he's going to be able to get in an offhand attack here. That will end his turn. So, for Reth here, I can Hex his... No, it's only for ability checks. It's not for saving throws. But there's no real reason not to do it, I guess. At this point. Well, let's go with Lae'zel first.
Time to strike.
We'll get her up here.
Make way.
Okay, so that's exactly what we wanted to see. The real issue is going to come in here with Foreth and whether or not he makes his saving throw before I'm ready for him to make his saving throw, is basically it.
On the victor's path.
Wow, hit for 17. That's a harsh roll. Okay, so Foreth passed his saving throw.
Still breathing, despite everything. Wouldn't want that to scar. What path lies before me?
Okay. Needed to remove him from the field.
Shall we cut and run?
So for Astarion,
On the way.
okay, now we're going to hide.
Leave no trace.
Okay. So let's try... Okay, so he saved on his saving throw there for the Arrow of Roaring Thunder. Let's try another one. Okay, so he saved on both of them. Probably should have hexed his strength instead.
Forever dauntless.
Okay, so we have several options here. I would prefer not to move him farther away from me, actually.
I will ascend.
Since I don't have an action for Lae'zel anyway, what I am going to do is move her up here right next to Boreth, so if he tries to move, he's going to incur an attack of opportunity from her.
This is my time.
So for Will, yeah, I don't want to do this. I think I'm just going to try, because actually I can. Let's just undo or turn off the Repelling Blast passive. Okay. So yeah, he's dead.
Come on. Can't stay idle.
Swift and lethal.
All right. So, started off in an unexpected way, and that's because my planning for some reason was different for this one. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure why this played out different than I've played it in the past in my personal playthrough. But one way or another, it illustrates how even playing at a severe disadvantage, if you manage your action economy well enough and you plan out what the enemy's going to do on their turns, it allows you to overcome that. And using a scroll of Revivify on Lae'zel was always the plan going into that. That's why my bard stayed down here, to be able to get the attack off on Foreth with Tasha's and incapacitate him, and then get Lae'zel up using the Scroll of Revivify. And then the other thing that played into account there was all of the items that my bard has that do additional healing on top of just the spell healing that I do. All of the things with granting bless when you heal somebody, when you give somebody additional hit points when you heal them, all of that sort of stuff really comes into play with how much of a support character the bard can be, and can really do a lot of the healing work that a cleric can do. So don't underestimate how big a support they can be with the healing because of the additional items that they have available to them. So let's go talk to Lae'zel here.
First in my heart.
Damn it all! A Kithrak demanded my head. I should have given him yours. Bah! This is a distraction. The Kithrak deserves the whole of my scorn. How dare he speak my queen's name? How dare he dishonor her child? Yes, judicious counsel, and vexing given the source. I am a child of Gith. I will abide by protocol and seek the Kresh Gustil, as Vlaakith has taught. And then I will skewer the heretic with his own silver sword. A Kresh is near, that much is certain. We follow the path forward and seek signs of Githyanki settlers. No one, not even the ignoble Gestil Kithrak, will keep me from my purification.
Alright, so let's group everybody up here. We're going to search all of these bodies down here. And then we're going to take a very quick short rest just to get all of our action, economy, and spells back. Okay, the Elixir Hill Giant Strength is good. She didn't get to use her Potion of Invisibility, or she didn't. Not that she didn't get the chance, she just didn't use it. So let's actually search her with Lae'zel.
I crave blood. Tirsu markings. Could this be?
Magical energy courses through the slate, then to Lae'zel. A mystical map glows before Lae'zel, revealing a Githyanki refuge beyond the mountain pass. The slate also reveals the Githyanki's purpose. They are combing the Sword Coast in search of a polyhedric relic of great importance to their queen.
Zorru did not lie. I will soon reach a Githyanki Kresh. I must hurry forth. Purification is at hand.
Okay, so we're advancing the quest line here. So the Githyanki Kresh is located through the mountain pass, and like I say, we are going to be advancing that way, but not at this second. We're going to go through the Underdark first. So that's basically what all of these quest lines are telling you. So the Githyanki warrior, all of this opened up with the with using that map. Okay.
Still alive, so that's progress.
What did I pick? Oh, the scan mail. I was like, what did I pick up that was so encumbering?
What lies within?
Okay, and we're going to go through these here in a little bit.
These things have stayed interesting.
Well, hello.
No one back home will ever believe this. Don't waste a step.
Okay. Oh yeah, forgot we
Assume nothing.
made her drop her greatsword.
Taken.
Open up. Objective noted.
What to do? Best be on my way.
Trust no one.
Let's get going.
Okay, so this leads you to the mountain pass. There's a quest marker here for it, and this is one of the two directions that you can take to lead you into Act 2. As I've said before, we're not going to take the mountain pass just yet. We're going to head in through the Underdark to begin with. And we're going to explore through the Underdark, get to a certain place inside the Underdark, and then we will make our way back here to this area. To go through the mountain pass. So we are much more familiar with the
What's inside?
Underdark area. And honestly, in my opinion, the things that I can get from the Underdark are going to help me a lot more in the encounter that I'm going to have in the Githyanki Creche. The Githyanki Creche has an unavoidable encounter in it that you really need to have, you know, everything, well, having the benefits of the stuff, the particular craftable items that I'm going to be able to find inside of the Underdark is going to be very useful during that encounter. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so here we have another way to go explore over here. And again, we're in another one of those areas where your jump isn't really going to avail you all that much for some of your lower strength characters. But your higher strength characters can make it. Now, there are things over here to find that your high strength characters may not be the best ones to be able to find it. Okay, so we are finding some of these things. So the burrow hole is another way to get into the goblin camp here. Again, if you have your druid abilities or your shape-shifting abilities to shape-shift into something small, then that's another way into the druid camp. Holding left alt, we do have balsam here. And we're going to head up here. Okay, so she was able to perceive it. And several potions, all of which are good. Now I'm going to keep one of those on everybody. Okay.
An efficient path.
But again, also another way into the goblin camp from up here. We've obviously already cleared out the goblin camp, so we don't have to worry about it, so we can just make our way back.
Still breathing, despite everything. Should mind my step.
Okay, so now let's take a quick look at our inventories. Because we did loot some items there that we want to take a look at. So, the Githyanki Greatsword is the... And here, we'll actually illustrate it. So the Everburn Blade is... And we'll switch to Lae'zel here for the full stats on it. So 2d6 plus 3 with 1d4 fire damage. The Githyanki Greatsword, the difference here is that the Everburn Blade is not a +1 weapon. So it does 1d4 fire damage all the time. Does 2d6 plus 3 for a strength modifier. So it's a 6 to 19 damage. So the Githyanki Greatsword is a +1 weapon that whenever it's wielded by a Githyanki, it will deal an additional 1d4 of psychic damage. So since Lae'zel is obviously Githyanki, it's no longer conditional for her. It is all of the time. So the Githyanki Greatsword is a straight upgrade for Lae'zel from the Greatsword that she is currently wielding with the Everburn Blade. So this is what I said, up to a certain point, the Everburn Blade is the highest damage output weapon that you're going to have in the game. But there will become a point where it's going to become overshadowed by other things. And this is that point. For Lae'zel, the Githyanki Greatsword is straight up better. For other characters, however, other martial characters that you have, the Everburn, and for characters who are not Githyanki, the Everburn Blade is still going to be better because it's always going to do that 1d4 fire damage. So if you're not a Githyanki and you don't have that 1d4 psychic damage, then you're going to be losing a possible 3 points of max damage by having somebody who's not a Gith wield the Greatsword. Okay, so, but for now, for her, it's a straight upgrade for her over what she has right now. So the crossbow here is a +1 heavy crossbow. Gandrel's Aspiration is also a +1 heavy crossbow, so you can see the damage is 3 to 12 and 3 to 12. However, we would be losing the Feller of Monsters advantage giver, and remember that advantage applies not just to using the crossbow, but to all weapons that Lae'zel and all attacks that Lae'zel's going to be making. So for her, it's not an upgrade to change out any of the crossbows or to anybody else. However, if you have other people who are proficient in heavy crossbows, then they can be useful as a +1 heavy crossbow. So for me, I don't think I have anybody else who is proficient in heavy crossbows. Oh, am I? Okay, so I am proficient here. I forgot because of the College of Valor that I took. So she's now proficient in her martial weapons. So that would remove Hunter's Mark, but would give me much higher damage potential here with this. So I'll go ahead and swap that out. Nobody else is going to need it, is going to need any of them. And I'm going to keep the shield and Zionide here on Lae'zel as, like I say, her backup. So let's go have our long rest, clear up, or get all of our action economy back, and we shouldn't have to have any more Well, we might have to have another conversation with Lae'zel, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Oh. So, yes, it's the Githyanki half-plate, which again is the equivalent of +1 scale mail with the loss of 1 slashing damage protection. So Githyanki half-plate's tied for the best early Act 1 medium armor in the game with scale mail +1. Okay. So let's head to camp here. Don't think we have to have any more conversations, but I'll just look real quick and make sure we don't. So I'm just going to head right to bed.
Better not be cursed.
Oh, and thanks for being here, Ostamura. Sorry, I was concentrating on that encounter, so I apologize.
A quiet evening for once. Perfect for 2 people who'd like to take some time to themselves. If you catch my meaning. And I do mean sex, to be clear. We've been waiting long enough. Let's find our own little piece of nowhere. Somewhere we can lose ourselves and forget all this madness. There's a secluded place nearby that should do nicely. Wait until the others are asleep, then come and find me there. Indeed you will, my love. I can't wait. There you are. I've been waiting. Waiting since the moment I set eyes on you. Waiting to have you. It's a poem, a gift from Cazador. He considered himself quite the artist and used his slaves as a canvas. He composed and carved that one over the course of a night. He made a lot of revisions as he went. I don't know. It's not like I can look in a mirror and see. Now let's go. We've wasted enough time already.
Okay, so made sure that that streamer settings were active there, so you can see the difference in the game between the full nudity versions and what plays out when you have that turned off. So, fairly important for me streaming this to make sure that that was all taken care of. So, we'll go talk to Scratch here. We did learn a lot about Astarion there, and we'll go talk to him real quick.
I need a moment for the two of us.
Hello, my sweet.
Okay, so nothing new from Astarion. So, let's see. Do we have... Yes, we do.
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. All I know is I thought of you when I saw it.
Master. Friend. I stayed with him until I knew he was gone. I'll never forget him. But I'm glad to have met you.
Okay, so you received a bone here. From Scratch. And... okay, sorry, I was just looking around here.
Let's have a look.
To see what else is showing up in camp. Okay, I thought this stuff was going to start showing up around here now. Just going to take a quick run around camp. Okay, so we'll leave that out here, and then we are going to leave camp and go sell off these other items here real quick. And then the Underdark awaits us. And we're going to head to the Underdark through the basement of the Goblin camp. And honestly, I can't remember if we've cleared out the encounter with the Ogre or not. So we will find out when we get down there.
It'll take a while for us all to recover, but you've of course.
Okay, so... whoops. Clearing out the high carry weight items first. Okay, and some of these are going to wait. Okay, we are going to have Astarion by the arrow there.
May you keep balance.
And now let's head to the Goblin Camp. Okay, we're going to head inside here, and we're going to head down through Priestess Gut's chambers. Ah. Didn't clear out the inside here. Okay. Fun. Okay. See how I want to approach this now. So who's first? So all the trackers are probably first, right? Yep. Okay, so...
a better position.
Not a high % chance to do it, but...
No time to waste.
Don't think he can see him. Oh, we can.
Still on my feet. Don't waste a step.
I will ascend.
Okay, so I'm getting the underdog's bow. Yes. Okay, so if I move in here, in between these two, I'm going to have advantage on it because of being within the attack range of 2 characters.
Path be true.
Rolled a 29. Ow. Was hoping for better than that. That's what I was hoping for. Oh, didn't need to miss that.
Delicious.
No, no. Okay, I actually didn't want to do that. I can still make it work. Okay, wanted to get him the happy trait.
Blackets will be done. worth examining.
Forgot I hadn't cleared out the entrance here when I went out the crumbled wall on my way out of here. So yeah, came as a bit of a surprise, but worked out okay.
Quickly then.
Okay, so now we can make our way back down here and hopefully continue on how we were planning to. That wasn't too bad. Lae'zel lost a couple of hit points, but nothing too serious.
These boots have seen everything.
I am going to pick up the Scroll of Revivify here to replace the one that I had previously used. Okay, and now we're going to head down. It doesn't look like I've been down here, so we'll have to deal with the Ogre. It's not a big deal, though. Whoops. When she turns around, going to move Astarion over here. And when she comes back, I'm going to enter into turn-based mode here. Okay. When she gets right there, she's now underneath the brazier. Okay. So that instantly gets some really good damage against her and initiates combat with Astarion, which is obviously what I wanted to do. Now at the location he's in, he should be able to hide here.
Let's have a little fun.
And get a sneak attack. I don't need to use Luck of Far Realms here. I'm trying to think. No, we're going to save it. Okay. Now, the detection cones are not great here, but I think I can still maneuver my way around. Okay, so I might have to jump here. And now I'm gonna have to, if I jump again, I'm gonna have to make another hide saving throw or ability check here. Okay, nope, I didn't have to. So let's move her around behind.
I shouldn't linger.
Oh boy. So let's look at that. Ah, okay. So rolled a crit. That's where and I rolled a 17 on my damage roll out of that. So did really nice on the damaging rolls. Out of 24 possible, I rolled 17. So that worked out really, really well.
Objective noted. No time to rest.
Okay, so I don't know if I let the spiders out either. I don't think I did. It doesn't matter now, because the fights are over upstairs. But I will illustrate it. So inside here, this is the prison where if you take the sleeping potion from Priestess Gut and you're not an elf or you're not immune to sleep, then you will end up here before you get rescued. And in here, one of the ways out is through here. Now, what I'm going to do is just hop down here. And I don't care about Featherfall or anything like that. I'm not too worried about taking the damage and that sort of stuff. I'm going to be taking a short rest here anyway. Okay, I do have Speak with Animals also.
Here goes nothing.
Okay, so in this playthrough I did let the spiders out. Okay. Again, I've had so many of these. I'm playing all of my playthroughs differently for all of you, so trying to keep them separate as to what I've done and what I haven't done is sometimes a little confusing to me because I just don't remember it. Okay, so we can head back up here and head back to where we were. Yeah, because the spiders are let out there up here. Yes. Okay, that's my fault. I just, like I say, didn't remember it. Okay, so when you're holding Alt, you can see we have a couple of other things down here we can loot.
That might be worth a look.
The gnarled tree branch is her weapon. You can pick up if you'd like. Okay, you have the Amulet of Misty Step, which is incredibly useful.
No traps, please.
Some potions, and that's a reminder that we will equalize our healing potions here in a second. Okay, holding Alt here. Okay, so we do have a recipe of arcane cultivation here. So here inside of our, that's an elixir, I believe. Yes, it is. So the elixir here needs weave moss, any sublimate, and our sublimates here can be made out of a bunch of different things that we have. So easy to make those, and then we needed a vitriol of weave moss here, which again, so we are perfectly capable of making some of these. These are going to become a lot more useful as we get into the later sections of the game. Being able to craft potions of speed and all of that sort of stuff are incredibly useful. And then we have a padlock key here. You want to make sure you pick up. And before we go down here, let's equal out our healing potions first. So we're going to sort everybody.
Defender of the people.
Indolence breeds madness.
What a day.
Okay, so we have 5 and 13. So we definitely need to split these. Get rid of the mugwort from him. Okay, so we have 10. We've got 3 here. I think it's important that she keep those, however. So I think that gets everybody at least 10 potions of healing and 1 potion of greater healing, so... Does everybody still have an antidote? They do. Do we have a whole bunch of them? Yeah, we can split off a couple of more here. And now with these two, we can split these in half and give 1 each to Will and Astarion. And now we should be pretty much back where we need to be.
No one stopped me yet.
Okay, so we're going to head down here into this area.
What's that? Let's see. Not a chance I'll fit in there.
Okay, again, another spot for your shape-shifting abilities and that sort of stuff. So that's interesting. So it shows a new area over there. I haven't noticed this either.
Proceeding.
Okay. Didn't notice this area in my previous playthrough, so good to know that it's here. I just happened to notice it on the mini-map with these two areas that were highlighted.
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have.
Okay, so we'll head into this room here. Now on the floor here
Wonder if the gods are
is
watching me.
the puzzle that we have to solve to progress. Unless...
Moons and stars, like in the dwarf's poem.
What's that?
And these plates can move.
Okay, so...
Found and taken.
silver plate up here.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. One day I'll catch a break.
Alright, so if you proceed here... Okay, you'll see a lever right here. Okay, this lever is locked.
Keep a blade close. With pleasure.
Okay, it's a high-ish DC. However, this is Astarion that we're talking about. Pretty decent roll, 31. And that will unlock this back door. So you do not have to solve the puzzle on the ground here if you can just pick your way through that lock on the lever. Otherwise, you have to do what we've done in the past, and you need to orient these so that the full moons are in the top and the other moons are toward the bottom. Okay, but we don't have to do that. We're just going to progress on into the Selunite temple through a really cool cutscene here.
So long poking about down here. I'd much rather be outside with the sun on my skin.
You've only just come to tolerate sun and you're already nostalgic. If you're going to complain the whole way, by all means, return topside. You could use the color.
Okay, so now we get an update to a few things. First is the Underdark. We are now inside the Underdark. We'll need to find a path to Moonrise Towers through here. We updated the quest for the Night Song. So it's saying that the trail has gone cold here in the Underdark. And yeah, that was an update for Astarion for the poem in his back. So let's do some exploration here. Okay, we have a locked door over here that you can pick your way through.
Action, not reaction.
Sharp as ever.
Eager eager for battle.
Okay, so we'll just continue searching here.
What lies within?
And you can see that we have a Minotaur
Without delay.
who is approaching.
To battle.
You don't have to attack the Minotaur. You don't want. It's going to come up to the gate, and you saw that it was being attacked by these two statues. So that's. It gives you a hint about what's happening here and how walking out there can be bad things. Okay. So moving up here on top,
New danger. I may have underestimated this Faerun.
we have a skeleton here that has the Selunite key on it.
We'll meet a beholder.
And some notes here. So it talks about the garrison's start here and what's been happening to them while they're here and kind of how they wound up this way. But the key okay, so Lae'zel is encumbered.
Careful, I bite.
So we'll have Astarion pick up these things and do some searching around. Nothing there that we need.
Let's go.
Then we can head over in here and unlock the waypoint. So now we have a fast travel point back to this spot. And again, you have another faded logbook, which again talks about their adventures down here, and it talks about a spectator in some area with some Drow. And we're going to be dealing with that here in just a little bit. Okay, and again, this is what happened. They were attacked by Drow. Now we're going to head back up here to this locked gate.
Let's see here.
And that key that you picked up, the Selunite key, is what unlocks this gate. So you don't have to pick it with Astarion.
Hardly a challenge.
And we have the Helmet of Smiting. We'll look at that here in a second.
I've got a long road ahead.
Okay, so Astarion picked up the Helmet of Smiting. This is a paladin specific or a tiefling specific item in that it applies whenever you use a smite spell, whether that be Divine Smite or Thunderous Smite or any of the other smite type spells. And tieflings do get a smite spell once they advance higher in level. you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier. It also gives you constitution saves or constitution saving throws +1. So that's obviously nice, but it's really a paladin and or tiefling specific type of helmet that can again be very, very useful. So for your paladin classes, being able to have a bonus to constitution saving throws is always nice. But then being able to get temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier, if you've got a +4 or +5 charisma modifier, that's a significant amount of hit points to be able to add to your total whenever you apply a condition with one of your smite spells. So can be a very, very useful piece of paladin specific armor to use in your playthrough. So now you have a choice here of which of two directions you really want to go. These directions are not mutually exclusive. You can come back and do the other direction at any time that you want. However, I think what we're going to do is take a short rest here. And we're going to make our way out here. And I want to see if I want to play this a little differently than I have played it in the past. It would be an experiment. But first, let's make our way out here. It doesn't matter if we're hiding or not, because we're going to make an attack when we get out here to get rid of the torch stalk. And we're going to get rid of this torch stalk as well. Okay. So, the petrified drow that is the key to this is this petrified drow right here. And I do have a basilisk oil here. I think I do want to try and play this differently. So this is going to be a complete experiment. So we'll see how this plays out.
This calls for careful footwork.
Because if I take her out here, I don't think I'm actually going to be able to make it to Dorne, to this drow. But we will see. We'll see how this plays out. Because I think the sea invisibility option here is actually going to be a handicap for me during this. But I'm anxious to try this out and see what happens. Okay, so it did work. And that's exactly what I wanted to see.
Can't even catch my breath.
Okay, so that's exactly what I wanted to see. The reason, and yes, you're correct, Eric, it's going to trigger automatically when you move down there and you move within the invisible detection cone of the Spectator. This encounter is going to trigger. The thing that I emphasized earlier is that Dorn is the key to this. Dorn is the leader of this Drow party. He is the one that, if he lives, the rest of the Drow are going to become hostile towards you no matter what. Right now, they are under the charm of the Spectator. So if I kill the Spectator, that charm is going to drop, and they're going to revert back to normal. However, if Dorn is still alive when that happens, they all turn hostile and try and attack you. If Dorn is dead, then they are going to lose the charm and become non-hostile at that point. So the problem is that if you attack Dorn yourself, then it doesn't matter if he dies or not. When the charm drops, the Drow are going to be hostile towards you because they saw you kill Dorn. So the goal here is to find a way for Dorn to die where you were not the person to kill him. And the easiest way to do that is to use the basilisk oil on him. That brings him out of his paralysis. It starts the encounter, and since he's the closest one to the Spectator's going to focus on him. Now, you become surprised. That's why I had to go through 2 full rounds of attacks there. I was surprised by the Spectator popping out of invisibility, so you have to be able to withstand a couple of rounds of attacks or roll high enough on initiative. I rolled horribly on initiative here to end up at the very bottom of the attack chain. But the Spectator killed Dorn, so now if I focus down the Spectator and don't attack the Drow, then the charm's going to wear off, and I'll be able to talk to them afterward. Right? So let's go ahead and focus down the Drow here. And I didn't know if I was going to survive that attack. That's why I went into turn-based mode over here. But I can exit them from turn-based mode now.
Every step counts.
And see if I have just enough of a gap here. For Will to see the Spectator. He does. Oh no, it says path interrupted. Oh no, there it's good. Okay, that brings Will into combat.
Breath, a purpose.
Time to kill. Gently.
Don't know if Astarion's going to be able to reach somewhere where he can see. Okay, so he can get right to there and make that attack. Which I think I can do without being seen.
Time to die.
Nope.
With every breath.
Okay, so now for Lae'zel, the key for her is to try and get her into a spot where she can make an attack. And I'm going to use her Misty Step ability to do this. See if we can move her out here. See if she gets triggered into combat when she does this or not. If she does, then we'll have to hope for a high initiative roll for her. Okay, so it did not bring her into combat, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, and let's just go ahead and start wailing on the Spectator here. Okay, we're definitely going to use Luck of the Far Realms here. Was he immune to Frighten? Okay. So now for my Bard. Let's... Where are we? 69? Okay, so he's got +2 on wisdom checks. %60 chance for these to land. Let's just go for the damage. Okay. And I'm gonna move myself back a little bit here. Okay, so Will's going to get his next shot here, so... Okay, so he's not able to see. Is he able to get... Okay, so he can see with this... But he can't get a hex off. That's disappointing. Yeah, he can't get a hex off for some reason. So, again, that's a little disappointing. Okay, but was some big damage there. So we'll weather one more round of attacks from everybody. The Spectator's gonna try and move away. I don't think the Frightened ability stops his fly, but we'll see. Okay, so it did. And I'm not too worried about all the attacks from the Drow here, so... So now, actually, what would be... I've got 3 Drow on the field here. There are 2 more that are still petrified, I believe. Yes, we have 1 here and 1 over here. And the only way for them to be unpetrified right now is either for me to use basilisk oil on them, which I don't think I have any left, or to let the Spectator live. And because every turn, at the start of its turn, it's going to unpetrify one of the Drow. But I don't think it matters to me at this point that I quote-unquote rescue any more of them. I'm just going to try and take the Spectator down here. And he's already got the happy ability, but I might as well... Well, what I'll do is I'll move up here. I can get close enough. So I'm going to get a sneak attack here. Right, missed the 75%er. I'm going to heal myself up a little bit. I've already used a Luck of Far Realms. I think I'm going to hold off on this.
Time to strike.
Okay, and then my Bard here. So what do we have left? 21. Because she's frightened, she's going to have disadvantage on her attacks. That's kind of what I'm working around right now.
Another step forward.
Let's actually use my bonus action.
I'll kiss it better later.
To heal her and give her Blade Ward and Bless. Okay.
Time to strike.
And now the best we can hope for is you see she's got disadvantage because she's frightened. But we only need to land 1 hit here with 64% chance, and with the addition of Bless, that's upping that. So there's 1. And now you can see that the Drow have turned non-hostile. That's because Dorn died during the encounter.
Open up.
Okay, if Dorn had not died, then I would now be fighting the rest of the Drow. Alright, so I pick up a memory shard. We're going to learn more about that later. And I pick up the blast pendant.
The sunset can't come quickly enough.
And now you can talk to the Drow. We'll search the Spectator here first and pick up the Spectator's eyes. Again, we'll look at that here in a second. That's a new item in the full version.
By the demon web, it has been so long. Dawn dead. I need to think. A mistake. All of it came with the wizard. Dawn. He was looking for treasure and promised a cut. Or so he said. A rival of his popped out of nowhere. Sargrim. Something like that. Unpleasant fella. They had words. Nasty ones. Sargrim summoned the Spectator. I never saw one like that. Petrified us all. Hard to tell. More spittle than words. Something about a forge, I think? Not certain, though. I need to free the rest. Somehow.
All Sunartean. Flesh once more. Crack. A pity Dawn cannot say the same. You still breathe after taking that tone. Let that be your thanks.
Okay, so you can talk to them, and they're a little bit grateful, but still can't push your luck.
Oh, my head.
Okay, so we learned a little about what was happening down here in this area, but we've cleared out a good section of this right now. We can clear out a little bit more. And you want to be very careful now with these torch stalks, because if you cause damage to them, they're going to get upset with you. Okay, so you have a frayed drow hood, some thieves' tools. Alright, so we can make our way down the cragged rock over here. Okay, now this torch stalk you don't have any worries about destroying. And again, we do have some glowing gems down here. We've looked at these before, right? Sometimes they will drop a fluorite shard. Okay, so we've talked about those before. How they're really just selling their sellable items and that sort of stuff. However, don't forget that we have other crystals laying around here, like these chasm creepers and that sort of stuff. And I'm going to toggle the group here.
Watch how you go. There's a trap.
Okay, we did find the vent here. So out of our inventory.
All right then.
Okay, so simple clothing won't do it. This is the same thing that we were looking at previously. As to the different things that can actually cover this. So I know that armors will cover it.
The stride toward fate.
But the simple robe won't.
Never
it appears.
A dull moment.
Okay, so
Might be useful.
making your way through here. Okay, my perception failed on that.
Don't linger.
Traps.
Okay, so that lets you know that there's a vent here. It's already got a backpack on top of it. As long as you don't take... Okay. That's changed as well. Fun. Okay, it used to be as long as you didn't take the backpack, you were fine. But I guess that is no longer the case. Now if you search the backpack, it counts it as moving it and it explodes. So that would be an interesting thing. I think we probably need to put out the fire first.
Eager for battle. Indolence breeds madness.
Okay, there's Rain Dancer. Guess it doesn't matter if Lae'zel's the one to put it out. Okay, so now we're back to just the poisonous gas.
Another stride toward fate.
So I can throw that on top and be right back where we were. So, and to stop the explosions, you can, you know, put out the torch or pick up the torch and move it out of the way. I just honestly didn't expect that just searching it was going to cause that problem. Let's get Astarion up here to cast guidance.
Someone needs help, I see.
Maggots will be done.
Okay, and there's the last vent. Again, I'm going to be experimenting with some items here to see what covers this and what doesn't. Okay, so the spike shield covers it.
I will take my pick.
Okay. And that will lead you, that will unlock this pathway here. Alright? So you don't have to go through any of that.
Moving ahead.
But unlocking that pathway down there can be very, very useful. Now what I'm going to do is, while Lae'zel still has a little bit of guidance left. Okay, so she missed that.
What now? Do not waste this.
What to do? Have to keep going.
Okay. So I rolled pretty well there. Didn't see it. I guess. Okay, so Scratch's sniff. So he's discovered something of note nearby. And now you have also unlocked this passageway down to here.
How much farther can I go?
Now, well, not unlocked, but you've discovered this. So, the issue with this passage here is this jump. Again, depending upon your strength, it can be a one-way jump for you, because there's an elevation difference between here and here. You can make it down and possibly not be able to make it back up. Your only way back up here would be to climb this cragged rock through these poisonous areas that are up here. So that's why having this unlocked can be important if you choose to make your way back up here and make your way back into any of this for any particular reason. So, but you don't have to. There's a waypoint up here, so you can fast travel back into the Selunite temple if you would like. So, but again, if you're trying to unlock or play this along you know, an RP perspective more and that sort of stuff, then unlocking that pathway over there can be very useful to get yourself back up into this area. So we are now going to make our way out the front gate of the Selunite temple. And to do that, we're going to have to remove the moonstone here. Well, we don't have to. I should take that. I should be more precise with my language there. We don't have to. We're going to, however, to make this a bit easier for us. Now, there's another way to go about this, in that you can leave that intact. You can take Astarion or somebody like that, and you can sneak your way out here past all of this, trigger the Minotaurs, and bring them back in here and close the gate and let the Minotaurs just get soaked up by the fire here from the two statues. We're going to illustrate something similar to that. We're just not going to use the statues to cause the damage. Okay, so I'm going to take Will, and I'm actually going to move him here, put him into hiding. I'm going to take Astarion. Actually, not Astarion. I'm going to take Lae'zel.
Onward.
Hey, I was looking to see if I could get her back up here. It doesn't look like I can. Thought I could. It's giving me path interrupted from that angle, but it really shouldn't be. Yeah, it's just a little bit glitchy with the pathing here, it looks like. So I'm going to take her, move her back up here on top. And take her farther down here around into this area. I don't really want to take her out here because of another possibility of something happening, but we'll go do it. We'll move her down here.
Born spores, and they're everywhere. Quakes.
And put her into hiding.
Incredible strain.
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have.
my bard. I'm going to move up here to the top and put her into hiding.
I don't need any attention right now.
And as usual,
All right.
we're going to take Astarion out here.
Waiting for us. Moving. Leave no tracks.
Okay, so when you get down here, you need to go into hiding.
Fungal spores. There's a little blood.
And now you can see that we have one of two Minotaurs here. There's one here, and there's one farther around. Okay, so, whew, thought I had that right. And we're going to initiate combat with the Minotaur here. And when we do, it's going to drag another Minotaur into the fight. But we're going to wait a little bit until he comes down where he was here. Because, like I say, there are two Minotaurs here, and we want them both brought into combat. So he'll make his way down here in just a second. And we're just going to get a regular attack because we're on low ground.
You're mine.
I don't need Luck of the Far Realms. Okay. So there are the two Minotaurs. Alright, so what we want to do, the enemy is surprised right now, so we get a free set of attacks out of this. And, you know, actually I am going to use this because I'm going to take a long rest once we get down there. Okay, and then I'm going to move back. I'm not going to move back completely out of the way here. Alright, so I could dash all the way back here, but I don't want to do that. I want to just move back as far as I can. I shouldn't have moved back there. I should have waited until this turn to move. So I'm going to end my turn here. This Minotaur is going to dash towards me. And I was hoping I was going to be out of range of that, but I wasn't. Okay. So I'm going to disengage. And then I'm going to dash. And make my way back to here as far as I can. And this is the benefit of having two bonus actions with Astarion, in that I can disengage with one bonus action, and I can dash with the other bonus action. And I'm going to move all the way in here. I'm going to close this lever. Okay, and that's going to close the portcullis here. And now I'm going to be waiting for this Minotaur to move up this direction as well. Okay, now what I might be able to do, let me see where we are with our ranges here. I think that's still out of range of everything. Okay, it's not. So let's try and get some attacks in on this Minotaur here and possibly knock him backwards. Okay, so I wasn't able to.
I can't waste any more time.
Still a little bit out of range for this side. Yeah, still a little bit out. Ranged attacks would probably still work from here. Yeah, they would. Those two are going to offset each other.
Free for the taking.
Okay, and now for Astarion, I'm going to again get him into a position
Over here.
where we can do ranged attacks. Now, the Minotaurs have a surprise in store for you trying this strategy. And letting the towers do the work for you is certainly a viable strategy. You won't get the experience from killing them that way, but it is certainly a viable strategy to utilize.
Excellent.
Okay, so a big crit there from Astarion.
Where do I go from here?
And definitely going to be out of range of everything else here. And I'm trying not to... Well, I guess it doesn't matter if I use any more of my spells because I'm going to be taking a long rest after this anyway. So we might as well create a choke point here. Okay, so didn't expect him to leap over to there. Interesting, though. I did pick up a second-hand crossbow, I just never equipped it. So I can't equip it, that would take an action to do it.
I won't give in.
I did roll a hit.
No holding back.
Oh boy, look at that. Not entirely sure why that is. Okay, there we go. Alright, and now...
I shouldn't linger.
we want to definitely go into hiding.
Unheard, unseen.
Yeah, 42. Actually might, just in the interest of preserving hit points, save her until the next turn. Okay. So now we might not even need Lae'zel on this, we'll see. Wow, Astarion just landing all of the crits. So we didn't even need Lae'zel on this one. The goal of putting Lae'zel out there is so that when the Minotaurs make it up into here, you can bring Lae'zel up behind them and land any attacks to finish them off. So, however, in this case, we didn't even need it, because Astarion just was the crit machine.
This does.
And ended both of them with high damage roll critical hits. So that is another way of doing it. Again, it's a safe way of doing it. You get the experience from the Minotaurs for being able to kill them while doing it. And you do pick up all of their items and that sort of stuff. So let's go in here and take a look at a couple of things that we have picked up here. So we picked up the Blast Pendant. The Blast Pendant gives you the class action of Lightning Blast. So Lightning Blast is a way to channel your lightning charges that you have built up into extra damage for your lightning spells or cantrips. So if you have a way to generate lightning charges and you have lightning spells in your repertoire, Lightning Blast is a good early game way to help utilize that damage when you cast those spells. It's a way to basically turn it into free bonus damage. We do have a way of doing that. So having the Blast Pendant on for Will means that whenever Will then casts a lightning spell, like Call Lightning or something like that, all of those lightning charges are going to be expended to generate additional damage while he does that. It also works for things like Witch Bolt, Lightning Hands, all of those sorts of things. So it's a good opportunity just to change him back to the Spell Sparkler to gain some extra damage when using Call Lightning, which is going to become more and more useful as we go along here. The other thing that we picked up is the Spectator Eyes. Now the Spectator Eyes is a new item in the full version of the game that was not in early access. But what it does is once per long rest, it lets you utilize 2 of the Spectator Eye effects, namely Wounding Ray and Ray of Fear. It lets you cast them as if they were spells once per long rest. So it's a great way to have access to these 2 level 3 necromancy spells that can be utilized by anyone that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with having a spell slot or anything like that. So these can work on anybody. So swapping out Chimera's Locket and getting rid of Dancing Lights as a cantrip, but being able to then utilize those two spells here once per long rest can be very beneficial. So it's a good early game type of amulet to have equipped. So then we also picked up I'm looking to see where we the Amulet of Misty Step. This is an amulet that once per long rest you can utilize the Misty Step spell. Incredibly useful for people who do not have it to be able to navigate your way around. And one of the most important people that can be utilized for is for Astarion. Your spellcasters very often already have access to Misty Step. Giving Astarion the ability to Misty Step around the battlefield. And remember, Misty Step does not invoke attacks of opportunity when you cast it. So being able to utilize Misty Step to move him around to get into positions to cause sneak attacks and that sort of stuff can be incredibly useful. However, for him to wear it, I'm going to have to make sure that I now, if I want to utilize this, put it on before combat so that I can give up guidance, because guidance is so useful everywhere else that I normally have it equipped, and I don't think about it very often, swapping those two things out from each other, so I can tend to forget that I don't have guidance available to me while I'm wearing this. But it's something I'm going to try anyway, and kind of see how it goes. So now we can move our way out here and start making our way down, and there's
another step forward.
Another particular location that we want to get ourselves to.
Always room for more.
The rocky crevice is a way for you to get down here from inside of here. So it allows you to bypass the
good here, I hope.
The gate guard statues, so to speak. Yeah, already a few hours. I'm 700 hours into this thing, and well, almost 700 hours into this thing, and it's still early game. It is kind of funny. Okay, and we do have other crafting ingredients down here, so don't forget these. And that includes things like the Viridian crystals. There are various little weapons around here that you can pick up just to sell off later. Okay, and just to orient yourselves, this is where we were with the Drow earlier, in this area. Found this chest and looked at this area here. And these two pathways lead us around to the last thing that we're going to do.
Enough waiting. I crave blood.
On the stream here.
Onward.
Oh, do want to illustrate also
Still alive.
the nightlight.
So that's progress.
So if you search the nightlight, you're going to get a nature check. All right, the nature checks are 12, so they're a little bit higher than usual. They are based, that's an intelligence-based check. But you can pick up the nightlight fronds. And these are for hearthlight bomb crafting ingredients. And these can be very, very useful. So pick up as many of the nightlight fronds as you can. And make sure you've got somebody either with high intelligence or that has nature proficiency to be able to do it.
More are coming.
Tell me you hear that voice.
They're coming. They're coming.
It said, they're coming.
They are coming. You are coming.
And thanks, Scorcho. I will go ahead and offhand the second hand crossbow here. Thank you very much for the reminder. That's why I appreciate my chat so much. Thank you very much.
One true way.
Gonna make our way up here. Pick up the Viridian Crystal. And now we can look here and we have a helmet. And we have Phalar Aluve here. Now, there's a lot of lore behind behind this sword. And
is that blood?
I think...
Never mind.
I'm debating. Let's actually do this with my bard
Slender
instead.
Drow blade impales the stone before you, keeping a silent vigil.
Okay, so strength and religion, neither one are very good for me. Let's roll this again. Wow. Well, we do have inspirations. Okay, there we go.
It feels like you're warring with 10 people for the blade, but with another hard yank, the weapon slips free from the stone.
It's a great little cutscene there. Okay, so there's, like I said earlier, there's a ton of lore behind this. Behind this blade. And I'm not going to go through all of the lore behind it. I'm just going to go into what it can do for you as a player here. So the sword is incredibly useful for several different characters in your game. Now, the first is that this is a little bit different in that this is a longsword, but it's a finesse weapon. Longswords are not finesse weapons. Longswords are strength-based melee weapons. Having Phalar Aluve be a finesse weapon means that your dexterity-based characters who are proficient with longswords can wield it. Right? So for me, as a bard, I have a much higher dex than I do a strength. So I'm gaining +2 to my dexterity checks, and that means I'm gaining +2 to my dexterity to hit with this weapon. So it being finesse means that it's a very useful longsword for me to use. If you also have multi-classed Astarion, well, you don't even need to multi-class Astarion because he's an elf. So his proficiency with longswords is going to let him use this as well. So as a longsword two-handed, it's 1d10. Single-handed, it's 1d8. So this can be an upgrade for his damage, primary damage dealing, by allowing him to use this. So the thing about that Phalar Aluve has is it has the melody here. So this is first, it's a +1 weapon, and it gives me performance +1, which is all great for my bard. It also gives you the ability per short rest to either sing or to shriek. Now, sing gives a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and charisma, wisdom, intelligence saving throws to all of your allies that are within a 6-meter radius. Okay, which is a huge bonus, especially to help Lae'zel overcome that Great Weapon Master all-in ability or Astarion's Sharpshooter all-in ability. Getting that additional 1d4 bonus to attack rolls is great. It can also shriek. So this is kind of like Bane and Bless, so to speak. Shriek is the opposite of Sing in that all enemies within 6 meters are going to have a 1d4 penalty to charisma, wisdom, and intelligence saving throws. And all of those creatures are going to take 1d4 thunder damage. Okay, so this is kind of a specific based Bless and Bane sword all together in one that also gives you the finesse trait for your longsword and allows it is a +1 and +1 performance. So it's a great weapon to have, especially for your bard here. This is one of the weapons that you tend to forget about a little bit. And here's what I meant. The longsword +1, you can see this longsword here is not finesse. Longswords are not normally finesse weapons. However, Phalar Aluve is different. Okay? So it is a much different performing weapon. And this weapon is going to carry you through quite a bit of the game. Even if you don't have this thing equipped as you get later on in the game, being able to pre-buff your characters, meaning before you go into a fight, bring all your characters together, sing with Phalar Aluve, and keep it. Now, that's something I want to make sure I check here, because sing, I believe, yes, sing goes away if the sword's unequipped. So what you do is gather your party up, you buff everybody up, you can use sing on everybody, and then leave this equipped for your support characters who aren't going to be doing melee damage with it anyway. and have that bonus available to them for the next 5 turns while they go into combat. So it's incredibly useful. Don't miss it. Whatever you have to do to pick it up, go ahead and do it. There's also an Arcana check that goes along with this, where you can do the Drow ceremony here of actually using your blood to pull the sword from the stone. You just have to be able to pass that Arcana check when you come up to it to realize what it is. I didn't do that, so I had to rely on strength to do it. I could have used Lae'zel for that strength check instead. Didn't really matter that much. So, but a very important sword that you pick up that's going to be very useful throughout your playthrough for a bard, or, like I say, any other type of character, even for Astarion or somebody like that, or a ranger-based character that works around decks. So keep that in mind. So I think that's a great place to end our live stream today. Just as a note, remember, in a little bit less than an hour, we are going to be starting the Paladin playthrough. So I'm going to take a little break, give my voice a rest here, grab some lunch for me, and I will get things set up for the Paladin live stream coming up in an hour. So again, y'all have been great. Thank you very much for all of the participation. I love my chat. I love the community here. Thank all of you very much for being here. So again, thank everyone for joining me today. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is me, Commander Jorval, saying until next time, fare thee well.